Understanding the System of Patronage in 17th Century England, Insights from Samuel Pepys Diary. The system of patronage during Samuel Pepys' time, particularly in 17th century England, was a central feature of the political, social, and economic landscape. It was a system of reciprocal relationships where those in power or holding influential positions granted favors, employment, or financial support in exchange for loyalty, service, or other forms of support. Here is a detailed explanation of how patronage operated at the time. 1. Patronage in politics and government. Political support. The system of patronage was deeply intertwined with politics, especially during the reign of King Charles II and in the years following the restoration of the monarchy in 1660. Political power was often distributed among nobles, wealthy landowners, and members of the monarchy, who used their positions to control resources and appointments. Appointments and jobs. The king, nobles, and senior officials in government would appoint people to various positions, often without regard for merit. These appointments included roles in government offices, the military, the church, and civil service. Individuals who gained appointments through patronage were typically expected to offer their loyalty, support, or services in return. Loyalty and service. Those receiving positions through patronage were expected to be loyal to their patrons. This could mean political support in Parliament, helping to maintain the patron's influence, or offering services in times of need. For example, someone appointed to a high position in the Navy Board might be expected to support the king's policies, back a certain faction, or influence decisions in favor of the patron. 2. Patronage in the Navy and civil service. Samuel Pepys' position. Pepys himself was part of the patronage system. He secured his position as Clerk of the Acts to the Navy Board through the influence of his patrons, such as Lord Sandwich, a senior naval officer and close ally of King Charles II. It was common for people to rise in their careers due to the patronage of a powerful individual who had the ability to offer them important posts. Patrons and clients. Pepys had a number of patrons, including Lord Sandwich, who helped him secure his career advancement. In exchange, Pepys offered loyalty and service, and sometimes personal or professional assistance to further the interests of his patrons. His diary records many instances of these relationships, where he describes helping or being helped by powerful figures. Favoritism in appointments. Due to the patronage system, merit was often less important than personal connections. A wealthy landowner, noble, or government official could rely on their network of patrons and clients to secure jobs for themselves or their relatives, regardless of their skills or qualifications for the position. 3. Social patronage. Economic and social mobility. The patronage system also played a role in social mobility, though it was often limited. Individuals could rise socially or economically by aligning themselves with wealthy or powerful patrons. For example, Pepys came from a relatively humble background but was able to rise in society due to his association with Lord Sandwich and his skill in navigating the patronage system. Patronage in the arts and culture. The system of patronage was not limited to politics and government. It was also a key feature of the cultural and artistic life of the time. Writers, musicians, artists, and architects often relied on the support of wealthy patrons to fund their work. For example, Christopher Wren, the famous architect, was supported by prominent figures in the royal court, including King Charles II. Private patronage. Wealthy individuals, particularly those of noble birth, would sponsor artists, intellectuals, and others they found worthy of their patronage. This included not just artists but also scholars and scientists, who often depended on the patron's support to continue their work and gain recognition. 4. Client-patron relationship. Mutual benefit. The relationship between patron and client was not one-sided, it was a mutually beneficial arrangement. The patron received loyalty, service, or support, while the client received the advantages of the patron's influence, whether in the form of social status, employment, or financial support. Expectation of favoritism. In the patronage system, the expectation was that a patron would use their position to help clients or allies. For example, someone with a powerful patron in the Navy might be appointed to a key role or given access to important resources. Informal but powerful. Patronage was not always a formal arrangement, but it was powerful. Much of the decision-making within government and the monarchy was influenced by informal networks of patronage. The loyalty between patron and client often ensured stability and power in the court or government. 5. Criticism and downsides. Corruption and inefficiency. While the patronage system helped some people rise to prominence, it also led to corruption and inefficiency in both government and society. Positions were often given to people based on their connections rather than their competence. This could lead to poor governance, with unqualified individuals being placed in positions of power. Limited social mobility. Although patronage could provide social mobility for those who had the right connections, it was also a system that maintained the power of the wealthy and noble classes. For many, it was difficult to break into the system without the help of a powerful patron, which meant that the poor and working classes remained disadvantaged. Favoritism and nepotism. The system encouraged favoritism and nepotism. Families often kept power within their own circles by providing jobs and opportunities to relatives or friends, reinforcing social inequalities. 6. Patronage in Pepys' Diary. Pepys' own role. In his diary, Pepys frequently discusses his relationship with his patrons and their influence on his career. He was keenly aware of the importance of patronage in securing his position and mentions how he navigated the networks of power at court and in the government. Social connections. Pepys often records his interactions with influential figures and how these relationships helped him achieve career advancement. His close association with Lord Sandwich, for example, was crucial in his rise within the Navy office. His diary gives insight into the strategic use of patronage in securing positions of power and influence. Conclusion. The system of patronage in 17th century England, especially in the context of politics, the Navy, and society, was a vital mechanism for securing power, wealth, and social status. It was a system based on reciprocal relationships, where favors were exchanged for loyalty and service. For many, including Samuel Pepys, patronage was a means of advancement in a world where social mobility was often limited by birth and wealth. However, it also contributed to corruption and inefficiency, as individuals were appointed to positions of power based on their relationships rather than their abilities. Despite these drawbacks, the system of patronage played a key role in shaping the political and social structure of the time. If you've enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like, share, and subscribe buttons to stay updated with more content. This content has been adapted from the powerful features of Polyspeaks for You, South Africa's leading accessibility software. Learn more at www.polyspeaksforyou.co.za. We invite you to support this meaningful dyslexic initiative, crafted and developed by an individual who personally understands the challenges of dyslexia.